Okay, so let's have a quick recap what we have discussed in the last session. In the last session, we have learned about how to create our Azure account, and then we have learned about how to create a Windows virtual machine. We didn't learn about how to connect to Windows virtual machine. In today's session, we are going to learn about how to connect to our Windows virtual machine. But before starting out this particular topic, any question anyone have, please raise your hand. Anyone have any question? Just a minute. Okay. Look like no one has any question, so we can start with the today's topic where we are going to learn about how to connect to our Windows virtual machine. First of all, to connect to our Windows virtual machine, we need to create a Windows virtual machine, which I don't have because after our yesterday session, we have deleted everything. So we don't have anything here. So the first thing what we are going to do it is I'm going to quickly create a resource group, and then I'm going to create a virtual machine. So first of all, I'm going to create I can create a directly resource group from here also, or I can create a resource group while creating our virtual machine also. So let's go to our virtual machine. I don't have any resource group, so I'm going to click on create new and give the name. Click OK. They are not going to create right now. They will create when I'm trying to create this virtual machine. At that time, they will create this resource group in the Central India region. Now give the name. We have already discussed about the image size. I'm going with B1S size. Username and password I need to give. We have already learned these things in the yesterday session. And we are enabling the RDP port 3389. And on the disk tab, we are getting it 127 GB, our OS disk. Other tabs we are going to discuss in our upcoming session. So I'm just going to directly click on Review plus Create. Great. Done. So we are able to create our Windows virtual machine. Now, after creation of our virtual machine, what we need to connect to this particular machine. How we can connect to this particular machine? To connect to this particular machine, I need to note down the public IP address. Whenever we are creating any virtual machine, we are getting two IP addresses. One is public, other one is private. Public IP address by default, we are getting it from Azure, and it is automatically they are giving randomly any IP address they are giving it. But how we are getting the private IP address, that we are going to discuss in our upcoming sessions. So they are creating everything for us. Now, once our machine is ready, we are going to note down the public IP address, and we have to open remote desktop connection. In our Windows machine, by default, remote desktop connection is there. So I'm going to search box. I'm typing here RE. When I just type RE, here I'm getting remote desktop connection. Click here. Now here in this computer option, I need to give my IP address, the public IP address. But for public IP address, we have to wait for a few more minutes because our deployment is in process, means our creation of virtual machine is in process. Still taking more time. Done. Our virtual machine is ready. Now go to resource. Here I am able to see the public IP address. Note down this public IP address and paste that particular IP address in the computer option. Click on show options, enter our username. The username we have given it while creating our virtual machine. Here I have given it. Click on connect. Click on connect. Password. This is my password. Okay. Click on yes. Okay. We are able to connect to our virtual machine with the help of remote desktop connection. Done. So this is how you can connect to your Windows virtual machine. It's a graphical user interface you will get here. Windows machine will take some time to load, so just wait for a few more minutes, then you can see the proper result. You can see here. Now we are getting it. So they are loading the virtual machine. So this is how you can connect to your Windows virtual machine. Now, any question anyone have regarding this process, please raise your hand. Yes, Anand, you can unmute.
Hi Ankit, good morning. Good
Good
evening,
morning.
actually.
Good
Your
evening.
voice is echo, Ankit. For everyone also it is same.
No
It is
one is. Is my
clumsy.
voice is echo? Can please confirm in the chat box? No, they are saying all good, Anand.
Yeah, for
So
me
it
it is
is
echo,
only
so
for
that's why
you.
I.
So please check your earphones, or might be some internet connection issue. Please check from your side.
Okay,
Everyone was
okay,
saying it is perfect for them. Okay.
okay.
Any
Yeah.
question you have?
No, no, it's clear.
Thank you. Yes, Harika, you can unmute.
Yes, actually in Azure, in the image, if you drop down, it is showing only 2019 and 2022 data center editions. Okay, if I
If you
want to,
want to see all the images, we have option of all also, Harika. You can click on all to see all the images, whichever is they are providing to us. See all images.
okay,
This is just they are showing whichever is very commonly used. That's what we are only
okay,
able to see here. But if
okay,
you want to see all the images, whichever is providing by them, click on see all images.
okay,
Okay?
yeah,
Yes,
thank
Bhavna,
you.
you can unmute.
Yeah, hi. Actually, I have a doubt on estimated costs are coming now to the right of the like whatever you service you are creating or whatever thing we are doing. It's like everything is like an add-on, like cost is coming. So every day, if in order to do practice also, those charge whatever it is coming, will it be applicable to us?
If you might be remember, Eric, Bhavna, on the day one, we have discussed few things. Like whenever you are going to create your account, you will get 200 US dollar credit for first 30 days.
Yes, yes.
So it means under that particular credit, you can do anything. There is no charges. That's one thing we have. Second thing we have discussed it. After 30 days, you will move to 12 months free quota. So under that 12 months free quota, if you are using those services, then there is no charge.
Okay. And another one is I just wanted to know the purpose, like whatever the Azure services are there, like virtual machines, resource group, or any other things. So what is the purpose behind creating all these services, or how are they useful to us? Like what we are going to do, how it is applicable?
First of all, I have a question. Can you create a virtual machine without a source group?
No.
So your first question is clear. So it's mandatory to create resource group if you want to create virtual machine. Okay. Now move to second question. Why we need virtual machine? Is it your second question?
Yeah, like
Uh,
I mean, like all these services, what we are going to do with these services, like how are these going to, the purpose behind creating all these services, just wanted to let know, like
which
what kind of,
services? Bhavna, right now, if you want a very proper answer, please specific a service name right now. Right now, we are just on only two things. One is resource group, one is virtual machine.
yes.
So there are a lot of services we have. We have a storage service also. We have a virtual network also. We have VPN also. There are thousands, hundreds of services we have in Azure. So depend on requirement to requirement, we have to create those services.
Okay, so the requirement actually will be like create a virtual machine, like or create some so resource group, for example, like that. It is going to be like means how in the workplace what we are going to do, like those are the requirements, and we have to work on that. Like just I don't know, so I'm asking like
Yes,
in when.
Bhavna. Right. Okay.
Okay.
May I know what you are doing right now? What's your right now? Are you working in some organization or you're in college right now?
Oh, no, no, nothing. I'm just a housewife.
Okay. So did you do any job before that?
Yeah, I did,
Okay.
but
What
it
did
is
you do
like
that?
I did on C++ and Unix, like
Okay.
a
See,
support
you
project.
worked on IT industry.
Yeah,
Why
yes,
you have to write C++ codes?
yes, yes.
My question is why you have to write it? Why you want to write that code? You got a
According to the
requirement?
requirement.
The same way here also, same thing. Whatever you have done, like you got a requirement, then you have write that C++ code. Same way when we got a requirement, we have to work on those things.
So the
Without
requirement is
requirement,
going
we can't, we are not going to do anything.
true, true. But like in Azure, it is now going to be like that we need to create virtual machines or we need to create some storage accounts. It is going to be like that.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
okay,
definitely,
okay,
yes. Whenever we got
okay,
a requirement, based on that, we have to do. Like right now, best example, my CPU, I have, this is my laptop. I have 500 GB storage in my laptop, and 480 GB is full. I need
okay,
more storage. It means now this is my requirement. I need to increase the hard disk size of my laptop.
okay.
So it's full. That's why I got a requirement. I need to add more space in my laptop. So this is how whenever we are getting a requirement based on our requirement, we have to work on that.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, thanks.
Okay. So here we have learned about how to connect to our Windows virtual machine. Now we are going to learn about how to create Linux virtual machine and connect to our Linux virtual machine also. I'm not going to delete that resource group. I'm going to use the same resource group. The resource group which I have batch-373, I'm going to use the same one. So let's open a new PPT. Here it is. Now, for Windows, we have only one option to connect to our Windows machine. I can connect to my Windows machine only by using the password. But if we are creating Linux virtual machine, we have two options. After those two options, we can use only one option to connect to my Linux virtual machine. One option is the password option. Second option is called as SSH key option. What is that SSH key? We'll learn later. First, we are going to learn about how to create Linux machine with password option. Same process is same. The process which we have follow for Windows machine, same process we have to follow for Linux also. Creation process is same. So first, select the resource group. Second, give the virtual machine name. I'm giving the name as VM Linux 373. Region Central India. Then image. Here I'm getting few of the Linux based operating systems I'm getting it. I'm going with the Ubuntu 24.04. Scroll down. Then size. Same process. What we have followed for Windows machine, same process I am following here also. The only thing is for image we have select the Windows one. Here we are selecting the Linux image. Now, see here, this is what we have discussed it. We are getting option called SSH public key and we are getting the option of password. Right now, we are not learning about SSH key in this example. In this example, we are going for password. So, username, I'm using the same username and I'm giving the password. Now, in previous session, we have discussed it. After creation of our machine, we have to connect to our machine. And if you want to connect Windows machine, it is mandatory to enable a port number called RDP 3389. Same way, if you want to connect to Linux machine, we have to enable one port number. And I'm going to enable the chat box. Anyone in the chat box can let me know what is that port number and the port name. Like for Windows, we have RDP 3389. Same way for Linux, what is the port name and port number? If you know, please confirm in the chat box. If you don't know, it's okay. Don't worry about that. I'll let you know. Correct. The port name is called as SSH port number and number is 22. Like for Windows, we have RDP 3389. For Linux, we have SSH 22. Scroll down. See here. By default, they have already enabled that particular port number for our Linux virtual machine. SSH 22. So we can quickly recap again. We have selected the resource group, given the name, select the image, select the size, username and password we have given here. Now click on next. Now once we click on next, here we are getting the disk size. For Windows, they are giving by default 127 GB. For Linux, they are giving 30 GB by default. For Windows, maximum 127 GB is coming under our free tier for Windows. For Linux, maximum 64 GB is coming under our free tier. For Linux, maximum 64 GB. But for Windows, 30 GB, sorry, for Windows, 127 GB they have given maximum. Here it is not showing free tier. Because when you are going to create your account, new account, you will see here it is mentioned as free tier also for you guys. For me, it is not mentioned because my account is not coming under free tier. Now, click on review plus create. They are validating. Validation passed. Click on create. Taking some time. Still taking more time to create our Linux virtual machine. Okay, once our virtual machine is ready, we have to connect to this machine. To connect to this particular machine, which tool I'm going to use? Like for Windows, we have used remote desktop connection. Same way, if I want to connect Linux machine, can I use remote desktop connection? No. For Linux, I can't use remote desktop connection. For Linux, I need to download one tool in my laptop. And that tool which I'm going to download, that's completely free of cost. And right now it's #1 tool in the market to connect Linux machines, for Linux machines. What is the tool name? The tool name is called as Putty. So just search on Google, download Putty. Once we click search download Putty, here we are getting the #2 website. Just go to that website. Here I'm getting putty.exe. So just search on Google, download Putty. Here we are getting that website. Just click on that website. The first thing we are getting here is putty.exe. They have some other tools also. Right now we don't need. We just need only putty.exe. Now which one should I download? That purely depend on your system requirement. Whatever your system configuration, it's a 64-bit or 32-bit, whatever it is, based on that you have to download. My system is 64-bit, so I'm going to download 64-bit one. Let's go to desktop, 373, save. Done. Here I'm the application, Putty, I'm able to see here. Next thing, double click on Putty. We don't need to install Putty. Usually whenever we want to use any application, any software, we have to install that. Putty we don't need to install. Just keep that particular file wherever you want to keep. Double click on that. It's open. Now here it is asking to enter the IP address here. So here we have to enter the public IP address. Like we have noted down the public IP address for our Windows virtual machine. Same way we have to note down for Linux virtual machines. So click on go to resources. Here I'm able to see. Click on open. Click on accept. Enter our username. Copy. Right click. Enter. Or you can type also. I have copy and right click, so it get pasted. And you can see here we are able to connect to our Linux virtual machine. Anyone have any question related to creation of Linux virtual machine or how to connect Linux virtual machine? Any doubt you have, please raise your hand. Or if you want me to repeat these steps, how to connect Linux virtual machine, I can do that. But please let me know if you have a doubt. If you want, you can confirm in the chat box. Do you want me to show the steps again, how to connect to machine? I can do that. If you want me to repeat, please confirm in the chat box. Okay, everyone is saying no. So we are good to go. Now, one important point I need to discuss about the IP address here. There are two type of IP addresses we have in market. One is called dynamic IP address. Other one is called static IP address. Now, which type of IP address we are getting here? Is a dynamic IP address or it's a static IP address? Before that, we have to know what is dynamic IP address and what is static IP address. Okay, first we are going to discuss about dynamic, then we'll discuss about static. Dynamic IP address is like, let's take example, I'm getting the IP address, this one, for my virtual machine. This is just example. I got this IP address. Right now I have this IP address. I'm just giving that this IP address I got for my virtual machine. Now what I have done it is, I have stopped this machine and then I have start this machine. What does this stop and start mean? Stop means I'm shutting down this machine. Start means I'm going to start this machine. So like I'm after completion of my work, I'm shutting down my laptop, and whenever is needed, I'm starting my laptop. It's same like stop and start. So restart means reboot. We are rebooting our machine. But what I have done it is I have stopped this machine and then after 1 hour or 2 hours, 3 hours, I have start this machine. But which type of IP address I have? Dynamic. And this IP address I have right now. What will happen if I have a dynamic IP address? If I start my machine after 1 minute or after 2 minutes, after 10 hours or after 10 days, they will change the IP address. If you have a dynamic IP address, if you stop your machine and start your machine even after 1 minute or even after 100 days, they will change the IP address. They will give you some other IP address if you have a dynamic IP address. But if you have a static IP address, then if you stop your machine and start your machine after 1 minute, after 10 hours, after 100 days, or after even 100 years also, they will not change the IP address. If you have dynamic, you will get random any other IP address. This change this, they will remove this IP address and then they will give a new IP address to you. But if you have a static, you stop your machine, start your machine 1 time, 2 time, 100 times, even after 100 days, your IP address will not get changed. So this is dynamic and static. But which IP address we have here? Is it a dynamic or static? It is static IP address. Azure is not using dynamic IP address. Earlier, long back, they were using it, but now they are not using the dynamic IP address. They are only using the static IP address, and Azure is not charging any extra for static IP addresses. Other clouds we have which in market, they were by default using dynamic IP addresses. But if you need static IP address, they'll charge you for that. But Azure is not doing this thing. Azure is by default providing a static IP address, and there is no additional cost for static IP address. Now, anyone have any doubt related to dynamic or static IP address? Please let me know. I'll explain again. If you have a doubt, you can ask me. I'll explain you again. Please raise your hand if you have a doubt. Yes, Sarika.
From the console, how we can verify whether it is normally if it is
By
dynamic?
default, they are giving static now. You don't need to
Okay.
confirm from anywhere now.
Okay.
Earlier we are getting dynamic,
Where it will
but
show whether it is static or dynamic.
I don't think so. It's showing anymore. Earlier it was showing. I'm not
Mhm.
sure it's showing anywhere now. It's
Okay.
not showing. But earlier it was showing it, but now because by default we are getting static, so they are not showing
Okay.
anything now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Sachin.
I think when I clicked on the IP address right now, it showed like static IP. When I clicked the IP
Your
address.
voice is not clear. Can you please repeat your answer question again, or you are asking?
Yes, can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes,
When you
Sachin.
clicked on the address, so it showed static IP address.
Where it is showing?
Yes, if you click on the IP address,
If I click on IP address,
no,
okay. Oh, here it
so
is.
it
Here
says
it is. Yeah.
IP address
Here I'm
enabled
getting
static.
IP address. Yeah. Here we are getting. Oh, by I clicked on over. That's why. Here it is. Yeah. Thank you, Sachin. Yes, Manoj. Yes, Manoj, you can ask your question.
Hi, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Hello. Yeah, audible?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
So
Manoj.
in this case, we can see the dynamic is a public and static is private IP addresses.
No. By default, private are static. Publics are by
No.
default are not
Then,
static.
okay.
But Azure is giving by default now static also. Public
Okay.
also.
Sir, then what? Okay. Then, sir, what are the main difference between them?
For which thing? Public or private or dynamic or static? Manoj, for which thing you are asking for? But between dynamic and static you are asking? Manoj, are you able to hear me? Manoj, I'm not able to hear you. Manoj, are you able to hear me? Manoj, sorry, I'm not able to hear you. Please resolve your issue, whatever you have, then you can raise your hand. Okay. Anyone have any more question? Okay. No questions? Let's move forward. Yes, Shri, you can unmute.
Yeah, what is the difference between the public and private IP?
Regarding this, we are going to discuss in upcoming session once we come to a service called virtual network. That time we are going to discuss, not right now, because at that time we are going to discuss more in depth about private IP address. So right now it's not a
Okay.
perfect time to answer that question. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Let's, anyone have any more question, or we can start with our next topic? Okay. Let's start with our next topic, where we are going to learn about how to create Linux machine with the help of SSH key and how to connect to our machine with the help of SSH key. But before that, we have to know what is SSH key. SSH key is actually one file we are going to download from Azure in our local machine. With the help of that SSH key, we are going to connect to this particular virtual machine. An SSH key is combination of two keys. One is called public key, other one is called private. So SSH is combination of two keys, public and private. Public key is getting stored in our Azure cloud, and private key is going to download in my local machine. And whenever we want to connect to that particular virtual machine from our side, we have to provide this private key, and then we can connect to that particular machine. Now let's take example. I have one locker. Okay. And for this particular locker, there are two keys. One key is with me and one key is with the bank person. Till that time, we are not going to enter both the keys in this locker is not going to open. Same way, if I want to connect to that particular virtual machine, from my side, I have to provide this local key. And from cloud side, they are providing public key. So till the time both the keys are not getting there to connect to that machine, we can't connect to that particular virtual machine. So Azure is providing public key from their side, and we are providing this private key from our side. And how many chances we will get to download that private key in our local machine? Only one single chance. There is only one single chance we will get to download that private key. There is no other chance you will get to download that private key. So we have to be very careful in organization. We have to make a copy of this particular private key. If by mistake I lose the key, we have a backup of that particular key. So with the help of that, we can connect to our virtual machine. But if we lost all those backups also, then do we have any other solution? Yes, we have. That we are going to discuss in our upcoming sessions. And even we right now we have learned about the password also. If I forget my password, then or if I share my password to some other person, but now I don't know, I want to reset the password. Is it possible? Can I change the password? Yes, we have that option. So if you forget your password, if you want to change your password, we can do that also. Or if you lost your private key, if you want to link a new key, we have that option also. All those things we are going to discuss in upcoming sessions. But right now, let's focus on creation of our Linux machine with the help of SSH key. Resource group. VM SSH 373. Ubuntu. Now here I'm getting SSH public key. So username by default, they have given it Azure user. So I'm just going with the default username. And we are generating a new key pair. If you have any existing key, I can select existing key also. But I don't have any existing key. I'm going to generate a new key. And here we have to give the key name. By default, they have given the key name based on my virtual machine name underscore key. I'm going with the same exact name. And our SSH port is enabled by default. Disk size 30 GB, review plus create. Now, there is one pop-up I am getting here. Please read that pop-up. Now, when I'm going to click on create, there is one pop-up I am getting it. Please read that pop-up. See here. Read these lines. An SSH key pair contains both a public key and private key. This is what I have told you. Azure does not store the private key. This is what also I've told you, that public key is getting stored in cloud. Private key is going to download in our local machine. After the SSH key resource is created, you won't be able to download the private key again. So if I click here, then it is going to download the private. Then there is no second option I will get to download that private. So click on download private key and create resource. Now they are going to download one file in my local machine. In batch 373 I'm storing. And what is the type of that file? Temp file. and PEM full form is Privacy Enhanced Mail. That's the full form of PEM, which they have downloaded in my local machine. Here. Now they are creating our Linux virtual machine with the help of SSH. Now we are able to create our machine. Now what we have to do? We have to connect to this particular virtual machine. How can I connect? Same with Putty. Same with Putty, we are going to connect to this particular virtual machine. But there is one important point now. We have to download one more tool here. We have already downloaded Putty. Now again, we have to download one more tool called PuttyGen. So go to the same website from where we have downloaded the Putty, go to the same website. So again, I'm searching download Putty, same website, scroll down. puttygen.exe. From the same website, I'm downloading. But why I have to download one more tool? What is the main reason to downloading puttygen.exe? The main reason is because Putty does not support PEM file. But Putty is number one terminal. These are called as terminal. With the help of this terminal, I can connect to this machine. Putty is number one terminal. But Putty does not support this PEM file extension. So how can I connect with Putty if it does not support PEM file? We have to convert this PEM file into PPK file with the help of PuttyGen. That's why I have downloaded PuttyGen in my local machine. So with the help of this tool, I'm going to convert this file. Now, please see my screen very carefully because the steps which I'm going to follow now, if you're going to do any mistake, I'm 110% sure when you're trying to connect your Linux machine, you will get error message. So please see my screen very carefully now. So double click on PuttyGen. No need to install PuttyGen also. Done. PuttyGen is open. Click on load. See, it is not, I'm in batch 373. It is not showing any file. But I have few files here. Why it is not showing any file? Because it is looking for PPK. So change this from PPK to all files. Now we can see all the files. Now select our PEM file. Open. Done. Next step, save private. So first you have to click on load and upload that PEM file. Then you have to click on save private. Don't click any otherwhere. Except these two buttons, don't click anywhere. Yes. Now give the name. You can give any name. For that PEM file, now we are generating a PPK and you can give any name. You can give your name also. But what I'm going to do it, I'm giving the same name, but my PEM file is having it. Same name. Done. Now you can see here, we are able to generate PPK file with the help of our PEM file. Do you want me to repeat those steps? If you want me to repeat those steps, again, please confirm in the chat box or you can raise your hand also. How to generate PPK file with the help of PEM, because this is very important steps. Yes, reading, you can unmute. Selene, you have raised your hand to ask your question. You need to unmute yourself. Srini, you have to unmute yourself to ask your question. You are on mute. I'm
Yeah,
not
thank you
able
so
to
much.
hear you.
Sorry, I am talking with the mute. Okay, could you please repeat 1 second because it's very important.
Okay. Was the process how to generate PPK?
Yes, yes, exactly.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I'll do that. Okay. So I'm going to delete this PPK file first of all. Done. Now double click on Puttigen. First click on load. Then change the file extension from PPK to all files. And then select our PEM file. Open. Done. Step 1 is completed, that we are able to load our PEM file. Next step, we have to click on save private key. Don't click anywhere, guys. Don't do anything here. If you're going to click anywhere, you will get error message. So first you need to click on load to load that PEM file. We have loaded. Now click on save private key. Click on save private key. Then click on yes. Now give the name of your PPK. And I have already informed you, you can give any name to your PPK. It can be your name also you can give. It doesn't make any difference. You have to give the same. I'm giving the same name. This is the same name I'm giving. The only thing is extension is different. Definitely needs to be different. Done. And here I'm getting the PPK. And we have discussed it in few minutes before also. SSH key is a combination of two keys, public and private. Public key is getting stored in cloud. Private key is going to download in my local machine. This is the PEM file which is downloaded in my local machine. And with the help of this PEM file, I'm able to generate PPK file. Now let's connect to that particular machine. Double click on putty. Enter the public IP address. Now we have to attach the PPK file here. How we can attach? Click on this plus button for SSH. This plus button which we are getting here. SSH, click here. Done. Next, click on this plus button for auth. Done. Then click on credentials. Now, here we have to select our PPK. Browse. Here it is selecting the PPK. Open. Open. Accept our username, Azure user. Press enter. And you can see here, we are able to connect to our Linux virtual machine. Did we enter any password here? No, we have selected that key. Then we have given the username and we are able to connect to our machine. Now, which thing is more secure? Is password is secure or SSH key is secure? Okay, I can give, right now this is my password. I can give a little bit more big password, I can give it. But still, at some level, it is possible to hack the password. But if I'm going to open my PEM file, now, is this code anyone can remember? Is it easy to remember this code? This is actually a password for this particular machine. This is very difficult. So SSH keys are more secure than passwords. So majorly in organizations, clients are using SSH key rather than password. But yeah, if they want to use password, they can use passwords also. But SSH keys are more secure. So this is how you can connect to our machine with the help of SSH key. Now, any question anyone have, please let me know. Yes, yeah, you can unmute.
Yeah, so assuming using the SSH method is more secure, you have to, let's say, deploy 10,000 or 10 servers, and you have to use that.
You want to deploy?
If you want to orchestrate maybe 5 servers and wanted to use the SSH method, how do you do that?
Sorry, I'm not able to understand. Can you please repeat again? What do you want to deploy?
The server. So you want to maybe run spin up 5 instances of VMs. Okay, and you have to do this for each of the 5. Is there any other way that you can do that? Is if you have to manually create that the key and download that for each of the system? How are you gonna do that if you have to do
No,
more than one
you can
device?
link one single key to multiple virtual machines.
Okay.
It's not mandatory that you have to use one machine, have one key. No, one machine, same key can be used for multiple machines also.
Okay.
So it is possible. There is no limit for that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone have any more question related to this? Because with this, I'm going to end this session here. Now we have to start the how to create, sorry, we have to start with Linux commands, which I'm not going to start right now. Linux commands I'm going to start in tomorrow's session. So in today's session, we have learned about how to connect to Windows virtual machine. We have learned about how to create Linux machine with password. We have learned about how to create Linux machine with SSH key also. And we have learned about both the way to connect to our machine also. And one topic which I have told you that if you lost our key or if we forget the password, how we can reset and get the link a new key. That particular topic we are going to learn once we reach to this PPT number 10. Right now we have completed till PPT number 7. So once we reach to this PPT number 10, then we are going to discuss how to reset the password, and if we forget the key, how we can, if we lost the key, how we can generate a new key and link that key with our virtual machine. But before ending this session, anyone wants to ask any question, please quickly raise your hand. Yes, Sarini, you can unmute.
This SSH key is very useful from the Linux. The same thing it will be, we'll go and create from the Windows machine.
SSH key is not for Windows machine. For a Windows machine, only password option we have. Azure is
Oh.
not providing that option.
Okay, only the one option. Either any other alternate option to more secure like the common user password.
For
Only
Windows, we have only password option. We don't have SSH key. For Linux, we have both.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Make sure after your practice, you are going to delete these resource group, like which I have told you in previous session. Delete your resource group, and till that time you are not getting a proper notification deleted, don't close your browser. So I'm going to send the request for deletion for my one resource group. And whenever we are creating virtual machine, system is by default creating one more resource group. Make sure you delete that resource group also. We have one service called Network Watcher. For those we are creating, what is that service? We are going to learn in our upcoming sessions. Look like no one has any more questions. So let's just end this session here. Thank you all. Thank you for joining today's session. See you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Thank you.